What up,
Chilling, chilling. It's a beautiful
man?
day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, beautiful
So
day. I think somebody's here is having an extra beautiful day.
yeah, somebody's here as apparently a robot. What the fuck are you doing right now?
Well, I'm actually currently in space. To my right is the Milky Way galaxy. You can see Orion's belt over there. There's some sort of nebulous cloud up there. I don't know what it
Okay,
is.
Bryce is
Um,
currently wearing a
mm,
fucking VR headset.
I am wearing the Oculus Rift that I just purchased, and I'm hype as fuck about. And right now, the PB&J podcast that we are recording right now is in front of me in full IMAX like screen size with screen curvature. All right, I go like this. It's curved over there. I see over there. I go like this. I can see left and right. It's beautiful,
It's magic.
and it's magic.
So
And
you
I
can
want to. I want to. I
see,
want to live my life like this.
you can see how goofy Bryce looks. He thinks he looks cool, but he looks
I
a
think
little
he looks
goofy.
cool.
He looks,
I,
he looks
I
a little goofy.
all I gotta say is, even if I don't look cool with the VR, I feel cool as shit in the VR. Looking
I
around
bet
at
you
all
do.
this shit,
It's
it's
But
lit, fam.
If you'd like to see that,
Sign me
you
up
can
for the
check this
Matrix.
video out. Right, so we're live right now. Like again, this is our third stream.
And this
uh,
entire video, this entire recording is going to
Yeah.
be done in VR on my part. So,
Patrick just
um,
doesn't know what it's like. That's why he can't appreciate it.
that might be it because you have the PlayStation VR.
That's true. I don't have VR, you fucking bastards.
Oh, what's it
That's
like
not
to
true.
be so poor?
Yeah. I hate you. Anyway,
Hey,
So,
John, what's up?
keep in mind if you watch the video or you catch us live. Wait, hey, is John back?
John's back. Yeah.
Hey,
What's up,
we
man?
must be a notification on his phone.
John!
Yay for notifications on your phone. So,
So this
so
episode is also featuring John.
yeah,
Uh,
but keep in mind there's the audio version, right? Our full audio podcast version, where Jordan puts all kinds of cool effects in there. Not really. He edits the audio by simple cut and splices. Works.
He's
So
a sound producing god, and I would appreciate it if you appreciated that.
Right? I get no love, no appreciation, except for
I'm
Bryce.
giving the love right now. I'm throwing it. I'm showering it on you.
You're right, and I love it.
You know what? I'm gonna zoom in on your face, and I just caressed your cheek. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
good job. So yeah, 38. What do we got going on, guys?
So for me, like we were saying, I've just been playing with this thing like all week. Like whenever I'm not working, I'm in this thing, and then I'm sleeping. Otherwise, I don't eat. Not real food, only virtual food now. Lost 3 pounds. Hey, it works. So here's the thing.
Stupid.
I bought this on a whim because one of my favorite YouTube groups, Game Grumps, they were paid to do like an Oculus Riftmas video series because they do like a Jingle Grumps for Christmas videos. And so they did a bunch of Oculus Rift videos, and they're very upfront when they're paid to do something. They were just like, yeah, we're doing this because we were paid to do it, but I fucking love VR anyway. So I was just like, yes, pay me to do the thing I wanted to do anyway. And they were playing games like Super Hot and stuff like that. And Super Hot is a game where everything is slow motion, and when you move, that's the only time anyone else moves. So every thought in each battle is very well thought out and timed. So like, it'll just start out with 3 guys with guns on you, right?
Hold on, and this is in VR, right?
Yeah, this is all in VR.
Okay, so all I imagine is 3 dudes just with their helmets on and stuff, just like you are right now, just standing very still. And it sounds like the most boring fucking game I've ever heard of in my life.
No.
Nobody wants to move because everyone moves.
No, because this is all. They're all. It's not multiplayer. So these are all like it's a story game. So they're all set up in like stages or whatever. And when you move to grab something to attack them with, they're moving to or shooting a gun. So you have to dodge the bullet, throw the thing, and every movement you have means that other people who are outside of your vision are taking movement. So you have to really think everything out. And there's some cool ass shit you can do in that game. And I'm like, I want to do that. So I bought this thing because it was on sale for $379. And I've been fucking with it nonstop since. It's fantastic. There's a cowboy shooting game I've been playing where you're a ghost cowboy. And that one is
awesome.
multiplayer. and they have like a Nazi zombies mode where, except not Nazi zombies, but you know what I mean, the Call of Duty Nazi zombies.
Yeah.
It's called Horde mode, where you have your 2 6-shooters and you're shooting up zombies that are coming at you. There's also like a 2v2 mode where you spawn in different like sniping positions, and you have to find each other on the map and shoot at each other. And
That's cool.
there's even like a quick draw, like it's
Badass.
high noon, like where you both stare each other down, and then a thing goes off, and your reaction time allows you to pull your gun at that point, and then you shoot, and whoever kills the other person first wins. So classic.
pretty fucking
old
cool,
West.
man.
Nice.
So I've been having a lot of fun with it. And
Now, is this way more high res or more capable than like the VR on the PlayStation?
well, to be perfectly honest, I can't compare them just because I haven't played on the PlayStation VR yet. Jordan hasn't come over and brought it to me yet for me to test. So I'm a lonely PlayStation VR-less guy. But
Because I mean, specs wise, it takes a pretty good power horse of a PC to push
yes,
high end games in VR.
And from what I've understood, from what I read online, HTC Vive is the #1 as far as specs wise, for like what it can do and also what it takes to power it. Oculus is the middle, and PlayStation VR is towards the bottom end. But the thing about it is the games for the PlayStation VR are super well optimized for the PlayStation's limitations.
Yeah,
Because they only had to design it with the PlayStation controller in mind and with very specific games in mind. It wasn't like anyone can develop games for it situation.
It
So
works very, very well. Everything
Yeah.
that I've played has been perfect.
yeah, it's
And
designed
I'm
to
sure
work
it
incredibly
works
well.
with it.
Yeah,
You know, because honestly, me and Jordan did a tech thing once upon a time, and I was impressed with VR on a mobile device. Honestly,
oh yeah,
you know, you get a high enough res screen on a smartphone, you stick it in a fucking thing like the little mask you've got on right now just holds it
Mhm.
what, like 1.5 or 2 inches from your eyes.
and then
Which
you
that's
get the
so
weird
funny growing
glass
up.
that gives it like a 3D effect. And
Growing up, your parents would what tell you, right? Get away from the television. You're
Mhm.
you're
burn
gonna
your
melt
eyes.
your eyeballs.
Now we take a fucking mask and strap it to the front of your face.
If there's long-term damage to my eyeballs from this, it's worth it. It's fucking
it?
worth it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I'd say VR is worth it.
Besides, I
Oh,
want
that's pretty
cybernetic
cool.
eyes later anyway, so this is just me
Yeah.
hedging my bets that insurance will cover it because my eyes are bad.
True, true that. So that's really fucking cool, Bryce. I'm super fucking jealous. I'd like to switch topics because I'm super jealous. Jordan, what do you got going on?
Yeah, Jordy.
So kind of along the whole techie kind of topic thing there.
Hmm.
I've been reading a lot the past couple of months. I'm sure you guys have heard it, just the nature of our jobs and everything.
Yeah.
That Samsung is rumored to be releasing a folding phone this year.
A folding thong?
I said that.
Thong.
Phone. Folding
Yeah,
phone.
I'm like, I think don't all thongs fold, or are you doing it wrong?
I think I'm doing it wrong.
Okay.
There's a
But-
distinct possibility.
Yeah. But a folding phone. And I wanted to talk to you guys about that because I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's a mistake.
I
Well,
feel
I mean,
like it's
we-
weird as shit.
We've had folding phones for a long time.
Yeah, the
flip
flip phone.
phones.
Yeah.
Right. And then, and honestly, I miss a good fucking keyboard phone, guys. I don't know about you,
Me
but
too,
there was
big
something good
time.
about sliding a QWERTY out, right? And
Yeah.
typing away. I don't mind typing on a smartphone screen, but there's something about pressing buttons that really makes
I
my
absolutely
typing
love
dick
it.
hard, and it's just better,
I miss it. I miss it big time.
And
I will admit that was one of the cooler things. I had an ex-girlfriend who she had the blackjack. Do you remember those? Had the
Yeah.
commercial where it was the guy where he was like doing the cards and then they turned into the phones and they were sliding out and going back in and oh, it's a magic trick. Man, it is so fucking ridiculous looking at that commercial now because it was like this is the magic of the future and we're like, bruh, no one has that shit now. No one cares about that shit now. Like,
good job with hinges.
I know, right? Like,
That's fucking-
congratulations, you strapped some piece of shitty plastic together and like,
You essentially made a mobile pocket door. Is
yeah,
what you've done.
it's OD. It's absolutely OD.
So, I mean, you're talking about folding phones where It folds. It's like an actual. It's all screen on the front,
apparently
and
the
it clamshells
actual
fold.
screen itself is going to be able to fold.
See, I'm
I
okay
don't
with
think they're
that
going to be able to pull it off.
they already can because they had that whole expo where Samsung and LG showed off displays that were so thin they were wobbling and bending them. LG, dude, has a TV now that's so thin everything's in a box. Looks like a small cable box, right?
Yeah.
At the bottom, and then the TV is like paper fucking thin on your wall,
Yeah.
and it
I've
looks
seen that.
fucking ridiculous. So
Well,
I think they can fold
LG
it.
already has the one phone that the whole selling point was to bend.
The Flex. It could
Flex.
handle a bend, but not fold. But
but that was just the beginnings of that technology. I mean, it's
here's
not
my
that far to go.
problem with a folding phone. Honestly, is how many folds is the screen gonna get before it
Ooh.
starts to wear? That's my problem, and that's what
And-
every fucking reviewer I've watched, every person I've watched, has been that. So
Honestly, I don't think it's going to work out well. I think one is going to be too much. If you keep that thing folded for too long, I think it's going to be fucked up.
I don't know. It depends on how they do it. Because, I mean, if they've already got the super flexible screen, you could even have like two different visual connectors, like to where the screen doesn't have to be like all in one. It could just be connected in the center and then like two separate situations.
here's the
Like
problem
that
with
ZTE
that.
phone, but then
But you have a bezel.
yeah.
Yeah, there would be a bezel.
So we still don't have a ZTE phone at work in our lab of shit. So I haven't gotten to play with it yet. Here's my thing on that. The ZTE phone is cool. If people don't understand what I'm talking about, it's a phone like a normal slab phone, but there's a screen on both sides, front and back. And you can use it as a regular phone, or you can flip it open and have two screens side by side. You can put it like a tent, like a tent.
And you can make a
or
terrible pitching a tent joke and then
Yeah.
get flagged by everyone for how bad your joke was.
Exactly. Oh, I pitched a tent, and then everyone make fun of you or whatever. I see my two problems with that. My two problems with that phone. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Is one, it's a ZTE. I'm not saying that they're bad phones. I'm not saying they don't make great phones and that they've sold good phones or whatever.
They
but in the
have
US,
made
they
good
They
phones.
haven't.
Not in the
They
US.
have made good phones, but it's one of those things where, just like you said, not in the U.S. And I feel like it's because they don't feel like they have a market over here because they'd be competing with some serious shit. And they already have a bad rap because they made some pretty interesting deals to make cheap ass hardware for like AT&T, for example. I think they made didn't they also make a phone for T-Mobile? That was pretty shit.
They did it
They
for a
made 'em
lot of
for
the
everybody.
companies. Yeah,
They made 'em
and
for everybody?
They
Yeah.
get these contracts to make super low end phones that have new software on them, and then they
For as
sell
cheap
them, and
as
they're
possible.
yeah,
They're like,
and
ooh,
they're,
it's on the latest version of Android. And then you open it up, it's like you have 2 gigabytes of space left after your 8 gigs of Android operating system.
exactly. And it can't even talk to you like that. It says 8 gigs of Android space. Like it doesn't. It
Yeah.
can't even talk clean.
You take
So,
a picture with it, it looks like San Andreas. Like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yep.
Shit, fucking
So, I mean, my opinion, I think eventually we're going to move to something different. The slab, what we have as the slab phone, the candy bar phone or whatever,
Right.
it's going
Which
to
I
go
think
away
is cool.
eventually.
I want to look at it. I would never own one, but I think it's cool, if anything, because I know it's stupid, but when I hear candy bar phone, I'm just like, that, you know what? That's adorable. I want that phone. This is a candy bar. Like, that's the
Yeah.
only reason. That's legit the only reason marketing has broken me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. You're right. It has. So I mean, like I said, I think I don't think the technology is quite there. I know the screen tech is there. I know that the ability to do it is there. I just don't think the longevity of that is there. Is my thing. So I mean, I don't know if that's your
Fair.
opinion.
I would have to say that that's my opinion as well. I think it's completely possible. I just think that the wear and tear on that phone, I would give it maybe a year.
Yeah.
I think their warranty process, I can guarantee there's going to be an exception on that warranty because they're going to think it's going to be fine to last past the warranty. And at the 8-month mark, that's when people are going to start having their shit break. And then they're going to call in like, well, we didn't do anything. We were just opening and closing it like normal and then died.
Yeah, I would like to see. I'm sure what they'll do is they'll probably have some machine open and close the phone.
Yeah.
However
The,
many
the
times
usual stress
that it's
test
lifetime,
videos
like
and
that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's gonna last even that long, though. To be honest.
Yeah, because
What,
you were
the-
saying like one try and then it's done.
yeah.
No, not one try, but I don't.
Are you talking about the
One
folding
completion.
screen, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I think that it's there now, and the way that the screens work, there's no like components in there, it's all just like
Liquid.
electro diodes. It's not really liquid anymore.
Yeah.
That's more plasma or crystal tech. But
Mhm.
these are LED screens.
Oh yeah, that's true too. And LEDs have gotten fucking tiny. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
it's a bendable fucking circuit board made of bendable material that you could roll up and crumple and just flatten back out, and it still works with just little diodes plastered all over it. So
The size of pixels.
I don't know. I
pixels.
think when it reaches market, I don't think it's gonna do well.
No, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I
think
don't think it'll
away
do
from
well
it.
either because I think it's too niche of a product. It's one of those things where the people who get it are gonna swear by it and think it's the greatest thing ever, and then everyone else can be like, "Why the fuck would I want that? That's so
Way
pointless."
too gimmicky.
Yeah, it's like a very niche thing. You're
Yeah,
trying to
but-
solve a
okay.
problem that's not there.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this then. So right now we have this shape phone. This is where we are, right?
rectangle,
So
for those
right,
who are
iPhone.
listening.
Everybody knows it's an iPhone. Here's my LG, right? They're the same fucking shape, pretty much. Samsung, they try to make them curvier or whatever the fuck they're doing.
But it's the same shape. Let's be real.
But it's the same fucking shape, right? So let me ask you this then: where is the shape of phones going? Is that it? Is that where we are until we get fucking floating holograms coming out of our wrists?
The floating holograms that are going to come out of our wrists are going to be phone shaped. They're going to be square.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Seriously.
You're just like this, and it just
Hold on.
folds out into you.
How pissed off would you be if you're like, oh man, I'm gonna travel to the future. This is gonna be amazing. You're like, Doc, and you go to the future and you're fucking DeLorean for some reason. It's a DeLorean.
Well, it's because it's a shit car. You can get them for cheap now.
Now you can, yeah, right. So you're like, man, you know what I was thinking? What's your cell phone look like? And the guy's like, oh yeah, we have a hologram. Holds up his watch, right? And it's like
iPhone.
It's a hologram iPhone.
This fucking happens.
Holographic phone. Yep.
Like,
Yep. And then he has to go like this and just put his wrist up to his ear to talk into the hologram.
that would be fucking hilarious.
To where it's even worse than just holding it.
What a step backwards.
But what a step forward as far as visual effects. And really, isn't that what it's about?
I mean, if you ask any
You
visual
can't crack
guy,
a screen. You cannot crack a screen that is holographic. Hashtag
whatever,
facts.
they'd fucking program in there like if you hit it too hard on the ground, it gets a virtual crack,
for
and you have to go pay 399 credits or some shit to get your virtual screen on virtual cracked.
No, it's a virus. There's a virus that goes around and cracks screens. Oh
no, it's called it's called the you dropped your phone virus, and insurance companies needed a way to stay in business in the future.
That's it. That's it.
So, that was your first virtual yawn, Bryce.
It was. I'm so happy. There was actually an experiment done that this dude did. It was like an art project thing where he lived with a VR mask on exclusively for 7 days. He did not take it off for 7 days. He slept in it, everything. And you could go in and change where he was or what he was doing. And he just wanted to see what would happen at the end of it. And when he went back to the real world, he was like, holy shit, he was super disoriented and shit. I get a little bit of that when I take this off. Like the real world is like really weird to look at after staring at VR. Like it's not even bright. It's just like solid, which I mean makes perfect sense. But you have to experience VR and play it for like 3 hours straight with it on, and then take it off suddenly and look around. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my god, everything's so steady. Like,
yeah, it's very disorienting.
It is. So that guy must have been fucked up. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, I think he snuck some LSD into it. Wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a fun little story.
What the fuck?
You're welcome. Google it if you want more information. I don't remember it right now. Fuck it.
Yep. I'm and you know what's funny is I'm curious to know what kind of weird shit Bryce is looking at in VR while we're all fucking sitting here talking.
No.
Maybe actually, you know what? That's probably a question we don't want to ask ourselves, right?
Hey, you can ask
now,
me anything.
We'll wait till
we're not going to. Yeah. So
To be perfectly honest, I just keep zooming in and out on your guys' faces when you're talking. So like,
Yeah, I see
I'm
you.
on Jordan right now. and I'm
yeah,
just
we
like,
see you. So Bryce
It
is
makes
sitting
me
in
so
his
happy.
chair, kicked back, waving his arms back and forth like some kind of fucking retarded or slow
I'm a bird.
fucking bird.
Big bird, motherfucker.
You would be a big bird, sir.
I would be.
You would.
I would be the big bird that kicks down the door. I'm just saying. I don't know if you guys have seen that GIF. If you haven't, I'm gonna post it up later on the. PB&J
Please do. In
podcast
fact,
page.
share it to the PB&J podcast Facebook page,
Will
PB
do.
letter NJ podcast on Facebook.
And at gmail.com and Twitter.
Yeah, and
It's the
shit.
same for everything.
Yeah.
It's literally the same. If you can't figure it out, I apologize. Go complain to your parents.
Yeah, they failed you.
They fucking failed. Exactly. They fucking failed you. So, man, I actually had I had a pretty uneventful normal week, you know, like usual, except for you probably see, for those of you listening to the audio version, I'll just explain that I have piles of like, it looks like a blanket behind me
Yeah.
and like a
Yeah.
towel. And if you can't see, it's off camera, but there's like piles of stuff around me right now because my
I just assumed
office.
you were hiding a dead body.
Yeah.
How'd you know I was about to say my office became the dead body hiding place? What the fuck, Bryce?
I
You
mean,
heard
your
my
head.
story.
Mind meld.
Yeah. No.
Spoiler alert, I'm sorry.
This has become like the Christmas room. So now when I fucking walk in and out of here, I gotta lock the door, right?
Oh yeah, because the little uns, you can't have them find the Santas.
So-
Yes.
Bryce,
Here's
I don't
what's
know if
funny.
you noticed, real quick, Patrick.
Yeah.
But Bryce, do you see the obviously unused ab pull-up bar behind him?
Yes.
First of all, I do use the pull-up bar, asshole.
I use it to beat my kids when they try and look at the presents.
Exactly. That's why it's sitting on the presents. No, but what I want to point out is I find it funny because this is my wife. She's awesome. Everybody knows I bring her up sometimes. She's the reason I can operate in a daily life. However, she does silly things like put everything in the room with the locked door, but then put a blanket over it.
Yeah.
What's the third layer of protection for? If
In
you
case the kids download an app that lets them see through walls. Everyone knows blankets are unable to be seen through.
That's true. That's really
Oh,
true.
well then never
That's
mind.
why
All right.
everyone hides under them when the demons come, because you can't see through it. It's perfect camouflage.
You know what? When I was a
the
kid
monster
and
comes out of your
scared, I did assume that as long as my fucking feet were underneath the blanket, nothing
You
could
wouldn't get
get
grabbed. Yeah.
Yeah.
If my hand or leg was
Scientific
off the
fact.
side of the bed, even now I feel uncomfortable if it's off the bed.
So we
I don't
are
even
currently,
have-
and I don't know if you guys know this or not, experiencing a technical difficulty with Jordan's camera. So you'll notice that he's just weirdly staring.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
sure he's
weird.
frozen. Yeah.
I just assumed that was his normal face. I thought he was just down to clown.
Look at the. Hold on. Make
That is
him
kinda
zoom into him. Make. I'm gonna light it up.
I'm-
'Cause I'm pretty sure I control
I've got
for-
him huge. And it's black screens when I bring him up.
Yeah, it does. Never mind. So.
Right.
Anyway,
I'm just gonna zoom in on the little one. There we go. There we go.
that's funny. He's like stuck. It looks like he's softly blowing on his microphone.
Ironically enough, when I zoomed in like this, he's like right by my junk, so it looks like he's blowing on that. So I'm gonna zoom back out.
Yep, that's weird. So
Hey, Patrick,
what?
talk about your collection of doctors behind you real quick.
Oh, dude. So right here, which is fucking me up because my camera, I have it flipped on my screen right now. So my hand goes the opposite direction that I think it's about to. It's fucking me up. So yeah, man, I have the whole set minus the current doctor who's in Christmas special is going to regenerate into a woman. I don't really know how I feel about that, but yeah, they
I
each
think it's
have their.
interesting.
I think it's interesting too, but I think it's a. Well, we could talk about that actually.
Okay.
But do you have any specific questions? Do you have any specific questions about the
Yeah,
doctors?
fix it.
He just wanted you to talk
Hey!
while he fixed his shit.
Yeah,
I know his game.
No, John brought it up. I'm paying attention to the chat.
Oh.
Oh,
He
I
said he
bring-
can't wait.
Yeah, dude. So here's my problem though with is that last season the Doctor's companion was a lesbian, right? Which is fine. Everybody knows I heart lesbians,
Hell
right?
yeah.
However, they made sure to tell you that it felt like every single episode, and I just thought it was weird. You know
That
that
she's a lesbian.
no, that they made it a plot point at some points, which
No,
was
that's what I
which
mean. You
was
found it weird that they kept having to remind you that she's a lesbian.
exactly.
That is
Exactly.
weird that they kept having to doing that.
You know, and a lot of people are kind of up in arms about the new Doctor being a woman. Now, this was
Oh, yeah.
you know, many years ago though, and you know, I can never remember the actor's name, but he was one of the very first. They were interviewing him like, who's going to be the next you know, Doctor, and this is in the original series. You know, back when only in England, when us Yankees probably had no idea what it was, right?
Yeah.
He said,
Before
well,
the
who
Civil
said it?
War.
Who said it has to be a him, right? So it was always
Yeah.
hinted that way.
Yeah, no, they've always kind of played with it, and there's been a lot of posts online about how people would find it interesting if it was a female Doctor, especially because the initial, like when he comes out, he's like, "Holy shit, what? Everything feels weird. How do you deal with all of this or that?" And like them bringing up
Yeah.
the differences in that immediate, you know, of
But I
being.
actually have the whole set. They each have their sonic screwdrivers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
You gotta like tack on like a little extra wood when the new Doctor comes out because you're out of shelf space, my dude.
Yeah, well, actually, I have a couple new shelves because, like, over you can't see it's all off camera, but I have a couple shelves on the other side with like just random knickknacks. I have 6 new shelves I'm gonna put up in here. One of them is gonna be for Star Trek ships, and one of them is probably gonna be for Doctor Who paraphernalia. But
And then one of them is gonna be for me. When
I'm
I
gonna
come
put
over,
you
I
on a
can
shelf.
learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get a fucking Bryce shelf. You come over, take a little nappy nap on the shelf, everything.
that's
Bryce on
all
the
I was
shelf.
asking for. Thank you. A Bryce on the shelf. Yes,
I got a Bryce on the shelf.
that's it.
Yeah, dude, I find those Facebook posts so funny. People are like, "You have Elf on a shelf. I have Trooper on a pooper," and it's like a stormtrooper sitting on the toilet bowl seat. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, they've had a lot of stuff like that over the years, and I do find that very humorous. Those types of memes.
Yeah, memes. Yeah.
Kill yourself.
John wants a TARDIS bong.
Huh?
The TARDIS.
John wants a TARDIS bong.
Yes. See, that would be pretty crazy. I wonder, you know, before if I could turn in, because like I have the TARDIS, actually the little one behind me. It is hollow on the inside. It is plastic though, or some kind of plastic, rubbery plastic.
All I gotta say is you would take a massive rip
You could
and then just
though.
look. You can take a massive rip and just look at someone and be like, "It's way bigger on the inside. That's why there's all this."
Yo, that's true. You could. That's a good joke, Bryce.
Thank you.
So,
Been holding on to that.
have you just been waiting to
In
release?
case we ever had a TARDIS bong joke, I have that on standby.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
But yeah, man. Actually, speaking of Doctor Who, a good friend of ours, Neil, got me a Doctor Who sonic screwdriver Christmas tree ornament.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
cool.
fucking awesome. So yeah, guys, I think we're nearing like a half hour mark. I
I'm
think
fucking
that
exhausted.
I
I'm
think
like-
that yeah. I think we
You guys
take
can't see my eyes, but they're like squinty right now.
Are they? That's because you have a screen 3 inches from them.
No. I could be perfectly wide-eyed in this thing. I'm just super tired, so I'm just like, "Yep, I'm here." So I need.
Well, listen, I need you to wake up because coming the second half, we're going to go sit in Conspiracy Corner for a little bit.
Okay.
I have 2
I'm
things
still
I'd like
not
to
sitting
talk
here.
about. You guys are getting in my fucking lap. And then we are, Bryce, I think, got weird with the Muppets. I'm not.
Yeah, he put a little hint on the Facebook.
I definitely got weird with the Muppets. I'm not going to talk anything about it because it'll set me off and I won't be able to stop. So we'll wait until I start talking about the Muppets.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm
we'll be
excited for that.
back after
Fucking
either
Muppets.
a random skit that we're about to come up with now or elevator music. We're lazy, probably elevator music.
Probably.
If you're joining us for the live stream or checking it out online afterwards, you will now see us just sit here and jack off for 10 minutes. And all right.
Lube
Yeah.
optional.
Yeah, it is.
All right. You know, I forgot how hype I was about this Muppets thing until you set up that segue, and then I opened it back up, and I was like, oh yeah, I had some actually decent shit in here. I'm pretty psyched. Because I just
makes me mad is that this live stream is not working for me for chat today, which is weird.
Really?
What do you mean?
It's working for me fine.
Well, I'm not in there like that. It's usually
the group chat on the right, or
it's available normally in the from the YouTube dashboard page, but for some reason it's not.
Okay. I should probably open up the YouTube version so I can see the chat too, but I'm kind of lazy. I don't know about all that. We'll see. I'll let Jordan continue to translate for John. He can tell me how much of a douchebag I look.
I had to fucking click on the correct button. So there we go. I'm a fucking genius.
Came in late.
Oh hey, look, my wife's.
Hey. Your wife is here. Hi.
A TARDIS bong. Yeah, I mean, John, a TARDIS bong would be amazing, and now that's a life goal. I'm gonna accomplish that.
Oh, dude, you can make like the top, well, either the bowl or the actual part you hit. Make that a sonic screwdriver. You know what I'm saying?
That would be dope, for real. Hey, are we gonna be creative, or are we inserting
maybe if we want to do an ad, then I'm just gonna
I'm gonna very rude, and I knew it was coming.
What was rude? What happened?
Oh fuck. That's funny.
What happened? I didn't see it.
Sorry, you don't know how chat works. You don't get to do it.
You should read the chat, dude.
Oh my god. I have to go to YouTube.
No. Look, if you go to YouTube and then you're signed in as us.
Am I?
So
Here, I'll put it in the Hangouts chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that'll work. So then I can just shoot the link and then I'm shot through cyberspace. But honestly, I'm just gonna jack off VR if I'm making an ad, so because I'm never gonna stop talking about this for the rest of my life. I hope you guys are ready for me.
Blame you because I absolutely love VR.
Yeah, it's pretty lit, fam.
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm in it.
All right, honey. Since you are listening, I need a VR, please. Thank you. Make that happen.
Y'all should get PlayStation VRs, and then we can play that Star Trek Crew game, which looks pretty cool.
I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Can I be the captain?
You can if you want.
Yes. Fuck captain.
I don't know anything about Star Trek. I don't want to play that game.
You just look strange. I'm done.
Bryce John.
Yeah.
I
caught up on the chat.
Bryce, you have an enemy. No, I agree that you just to everyone else you look funny. But I guess this will just be video content. Tell me about the video conferencing. You said it's weird, like with the VR and like everyone's there in a room together.
Oh yeah, so with that
chat or whatever.
Well, there's a game that's in development that's basically, Second Life, the PC game.
No,
you've never heard of Second Life? Jesus,
apparently not.
You guys need to up your internet history.
You're not talking about Sims, are you?
No, I am not. If I was talking about Sims, I would have said Sims, Jordan.
Well, because that's the only Second Life I ever had.
But get out. Anyways, so essentially, what happened to
I didn't even get a chuckle. That made me happy.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Your cam's just off. Okay, gotcha. So, essentially, fair enough. When you can create your own avatar, right? Full 3D model where you're walking around and it's 1-for-1 movement. You control the avatar, and there's different portals, the different chat worlds. and there's these rooms. So you can go to, like, people have made 1-for-1 reconstructions of the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z, or
that's cool.
yeah, and you can go around and there's like things you can interact with. There's a lot of cool shit like that. Like, so someone made a faithful recreation of the GTA 3 world, so you can drive around in cars and look around, and it looks just like GTA 3 from your vision. It's really fucking cool. Yeah,
That's neat. Yeah.
and but there's also like nightclubs, and they'll have like screens playing stuff and music, and there's like bars with like alcohol in drinks, so you can like pantomime fucking drinking just to be silly as shit. Most people just do it just to fuck with each other and troll, and it's great. But they actually have like movie theater rooms as well, and stuff like that, and you could create your own to where you could load your character in with all your friends. You all enter this private room, push play on a movie that you loaded into it, and you're watching the movie with everyone on this big ass screen while you're running around or sitting in seats, or eating fake popcorn, eating real popcorn in real life and no one can see it, whatever you want. Or if you're holding the controller while you're eating it, it'll actually show your hand going to
That's like, have you seen that movie? Oh man, I just watched it. It's like the dude and the chick, and they're like space agents, and they go, and there's this place that they go, and it's like a virtual mall essentially. So like it's a big like desert field, and it looks like people are just like walking around carrying imaginary stuff, but you have to have on a special like set of glasses to be able to see what they're actually doing.
Mhm. I have no idea.
Familiar at all.
Oh man, I don't.
But Bryce,
Basic.
that sounds exactly. Did you ever own a PS3?
Yeah, I still do.
Do you remember they discontinued it, and I really don't know why, but PlayStation Home?
No, I don't remember PlayStation Home.
It's basically exactly what you're describing without the VR.
Yeah, well, Xbox had something similar too, to the effect they even had a game show where you could sit in the audience and like participate. And it was like a live show where someone was selected randomly from in the audience, and then they're on the stage. You're like, oh shit, I'm playing in front of everybody. And that was actually really cool. I really hope that they do something like that with VR in the near future, to where they
It'd be
develop.
stupid if they didn't.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, everyone could show up. You could pick one of us randomly. I will randomly be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it's my VR avatar. So I show up as like, because one of the things that's happening in game shows now, like the game show that Wayne Brady does, Let's Make a Deal. Fucking everyone dresses up in like costumes and shit, so they can try and grab his attention. Well, fuck, I'm gonna show up in my best looking avatar that's fucking weird as shit and obscure, and like make everyone wig out. And when it chooses me, I'll be like dabbing the whole time. I choose C. Are you sure? Yes.
You'd be such a damn dork.
I choose D for dab. I choose A for dab. I choose B for dab. I choose C for
absolutely disown you.
For dab. I don't know. I just think it would be hilarious to me, because like it's just the perfect amount of self-aware and ridiculous, and I'm all about that life.
I think that's a fantastic idea. They definitely need to do something like that for VR. That'd be excellent.
Oh yeah. No, VR is it's a way to bring a large quantity of people and force them to be more interactive with your media. Because that's the whole point of VR, and you can't help but want to be interactive. You can't help that, when something goes on and there's supposed to be like an applause, you can't help but be like, yeah, because you're right fucking there. Like when you're at home, you're not clapping like an idiot because you're not surrounded by 1,000 other people clapping. In that instance, when you hear that clap track and you look around, everyone else is going to be like monkeys. Yeah.
You're right, though, and that would be amazing.
Because it's going to affect the psychology of the audience. It's going to be more of
audience participation.
Exactly. So like any media can suddenly have perfect audience participation. Like for instance, there is on Facebook, there's a Facebook group known as Super Deluxe, and I absolutely love them. And I think they're the forefront of like social media, like pushing the boundaries of entertainment on social media. They do a lot of things that are really weird. They're like videos. It's kind of like, how they have like the recipe videos that people do, like the tasty or whatever, and it's like, do this, this, and this, and oh, look at the bread. They do weird things like mini game shows or like little mini documentaries, and it's always something weird, and they do a lot of fucked up editing to make it relevant and memey. But
Pretty much, yes, John.
I mean, kind of. So like for instance, they have a game show called Bongables, where it's kind of like Iron Chef, but for building bongs. So,
all right.
There's this guy who's stoned out of his mind. He's just like, "Hey, welcome back to the show. Today we are gonna do, make a bong, and I have my special guest. Whoa!" And then it'll like jump cut to them being there, and like, "Oh wow, I'm here." He's like, "Whoa!" So we're gonna close our eyes, and when we open them, the secret ingredient to make our bong's gonna appear. Okay? And the other person's like, "All right, let's do that." And then they close their eyes, and the jump cuts to them open and be like, "We're gonna make bongs out of gingerbread houses today." And so they like made a gingerbread house bong. That was the most recent episode where one guy, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna do a double chamber. I'm gonna have the main gingerbread house, and that's gonna be where my milk water situation is gonna be."
That's gross.
I know. I was just like, "Why?"
That's fucking gross.
That's fucked up. And then the other one was like the smoke chamber where it was like a sugar cube house that he made, and he attached it with a Twizzler as the pipe, so the smoke would go down. So the sugar cube house would hold the bowl. The smoke would go down through the Twizzler into the milk and up into the mouth. And the other one was just like a cube chimney on the top of the gingerbread house, really basic, and then a Twizzler coming out the side for the pipe, or for the bowl. And he made the bowl out of gumdrops, which
That's
I thought
amazing.
was, yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right. We should come back.
All right, I'm down.
Jordan, you'll bring us back.
Or else.
Or else.
I mean, honestly, you're not my real mom, so I'll do what I want.
Well, I'll do it if you want.
But we all
VR.
just want to be big rock stars. All right?
VR Bryce can bring us back.
I'll bring us back. I was just kidding.
Hey, Bryce, the core. I'm just kidding. All right, let's go.
Don't you fucking start with me, fam. So are we going right back into the Muppets, or are we going to do something else first?
I think that we'll tackle the Muppets last, because I think that you're gonna rant.
Oh, I'm going to rant. Yeah, probably.
So, Patrick, you can start it off. I'll bring us in, and then you can start it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So,
I'm gonna point. You ready?
mm-hmm.
3,
3,
2,
1, go.
go.
And welcome back to part 2 of the PB&J podcast. All three of us.
Is
are
it part
still here,
2?
I think.
Is it part 2?
Sure.
Well, I mean, we're back from the break, so it's the revenge of the PBJ podcast.
Episode
Everyone knows that.
38.5.
Yeah.
38.5. Welcome.
Is this where I make my own lightsaber? Is that what happens next?
No, that's next. After that.
Oh, okay. So,
So,
actually, if you're just again, if you'd like some extra content, hit up the video. Go and check us out on YouTube. We had some pretty strange conversation,
like usual,
which is going to be, that's kind of like behind the scenes kind of stuff.
yeah, I don't think that'll change.
No. For
because
the
the funny doesn't stop once the camera stops rolling. We can't stop the funny.
Yeah, I mean, fucking can't stop, won't stop. So, but yeah, man. So, like I promised, I'd like for you guys to join me with some thought I had. So,
okay.
I have like a pretty long ride to work,
Right.
And it's currently the holiday season,
Yes.
Mhm.
So, a couple things were kind of rolling through my head this holiday season, and one of them is me and my wife together this year. I'm not gonna throw any numbers out there, but our household income is higher than it's ever been, ever,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
it's pretty awesome. And thankfully, because we were very poor for a little while there, we do not. We don't tend to reach too far beyond our means, but I mean, we live at our money bracket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have nice cars. We buy new things. I don't worry about swiping my debit card, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking, man, so many people live well beyond their means.
Oh God, yes.
Consistently though, and that's normal. And accepted, and it used to be just like an American thing, or people be like, oh, that's just a, but
The
that's
American
like the whole,
dream.
Yeah, but it's almost the whole world, lives
Yeah.
this way, and
We take
So-
after our countries.
so I have kind of like a little bit of a thought process with that, and that's that is there some kind of behind the scenes conspiracy that's occurring to keep people living beyond their means, using money as because we see money as a social divide, right?
Right.
And X amount equals wherever you are in that ladder. So is it designed by the rich to show how extravagant life can be, right? To make you
Okay.
want it so fucking bad that keeps you right on the edge all the time. So therefore you never can really be that rock star rich, because even if you are making a bunch of money, you're blowing it on your $700 fucking
Medium
Lexus
spending
payment.
it,
Yeah. Now, question that I have kind of goes along with that is that what you're supposed to do? First of all, like if you can, paycheck to paycheck, but you're driving, a fucking Lambo, you know what I mean? Are you doing it right or not? Is it better like
In my
To-
opinion,
I
you're doing it
wouldn't-
wrong.
Yeah, I would agree that you're
But
doing
but
it wrong at
but
that
I
point.
speak from a place of growing up poor, lower middle class, somewhere in there. I would say I
Yeah.
was never in poverty, but I was definitely lower middle class.
yeah,
And it's one of those things where when you grow up with having less, there's two different sides of this coin. If you're growing up full blown poor, you go all out once you become rich. You
Yeah.
spend all of that money, and it's because you're trained from a young age that money is temporary. That you can't save it because something's going to happen. It's going to go away, so I have to spend it while I have it. While I have that
Okay.
$5K, let me buy that TV now because, oh my God, stuff is going to drain out. I won't be able to get this. And I'll deal with that other stuff later when it happens. But
Yeah.
when you are born rich, for instance, money is always there. So it's one of those things where, you can spend it like crazy and
Now
you've
that
already
same
got
rich person, let's say that same rich person loses all of their money and they get a normal job. Are they going to know to save the money, or are they going to take that money and immediately go buy a fucking $700 suit or something
They're
like that?
going to have a very, very bad case of learning how life works in real life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like they're going to get fucked for a little bit. And I would say that lower middle class are probably the most apt for knowing how to handle that money and not succumbing to that urge of let me just buy a bunch of shit. Like if I became rich tomorrow, I'm not selling this house. I'm paying this house off and I'm just staying here. I'm not telling any of my neighbors I'm rich so they don't break into my
Yeah.
shit.
Now,
But
here's kind
fucking
of
killing.
what some of my thought process on this is, right? Is that what you're saying I believe to be true, but I think it was an accident. I don't think that lower middle class are supposed to know better, and I think that
Right. No, I don't think
the
that.
wealthy, I think that the 1% purposely portray a certain kind of lifestyle, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That is-
Absolutely.
That is well crafted to make you want that same lifestyle,
Well,
essentially
we've had shows
keeping
like
you in
that.
check.
Yeah,
That-
we've had
that-
shows like that for years. Like for the food channels on public access television, the poor people channels on PBS, all the food channels originally weren't like cooking shows. These are the major chefs of New Orleans, the major chefs of, Hawaii, like all these things. And it just shows these super fancy meals and how they're
Yep.
prepared and all the painstaking detail they go into. And even in public access is essentially what you want poor people to see, because that's
Yes.
usually what they have access to. So
Exactly.
and then they also had the like the billionaires where they would like Cribs, MTV Cribs. It's
Mhm.
the same thing. It's an entire show of just like, look at all this shit I got.
Look how much money I make, and I wasted it on all this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, look at these 12 cars in this garage. Why do I have this 12-car garage when I only have 15 cars? Sorry, I can't. There's a Post Malone Rockstar and Nickelback Rockstar mix up that is fantastic and has been stuck in my head for like weeks and I can't
You're
get
so
it.
dumb. So anyway, I believe that there is I think it's beyond though. I think that it's been going on a long time. I think those shows were part of it for real. I do. And
then there's reality television now that show, just honestly, it's all the worst type of human beings. So you'll either have the worst type of poor people on a show. Usually the show is, we'll put a bunch of ratchet ass poor people in the same house with a bunch of privileged, upper class people.
Yes.
And then force them to live, together. Big Brother. And that kind of shit.
That's exactly what they're doing. And that's used to fucking brainwash the public though.
Okay.
All of it. It's all fucking used to do that. And just fucking remember when you're seeing this shit that that's probably not how they actually live behind the scenes. Right. I'm willing to bet even the most lavish, fucking luxurious stars you can think of, and the lifestyle you see is probably not that close to their real lifestyle. They're probably chilling on their couch just like you. They're probably watching fucking Survivor or whatever.
Likely, yeah.
Here's my big thing. Here's the number one thing that I feel. This is the number one truth in the universe that helps me recognize that everyone's on the same level as me. And that's that everybody shits.
Yeah, there you go.
Because no matter what,
Kim Jong-un. Yeah, Kim Jong-un says he doesn't shit.
Well, I mean, that man also says he's a god. So if he's right on any of his stuff, he's already on a different level for me. So I'll just keep him in the other category.
Okay, category other.
Yeah, to where if it's true, holy shit. If it's not true, he shits. So essentially, everyone is going to have a painful shit in their life. Everyone has had. There's thousands of people, millions even, having them right now, where they just wish they were dead because they have cramps and they're just like, this is awful. And everyone has that same human experience, that visceral, disgusting, you are nothing but a sack of meat producing grossness. And you know what? Angelina Jolie had painful shits. Brad Pitt, painful shits.
Absolutely.
Fucking Rachel Ray, painful shits. Martha
Stewart,
maybe it's painful shits in prison.
Maybe it's not what class of people you come from that allows you to see through the ruse. Maybe it's a level of intelligence where you can actually see that pattern. You could say, you know what? Even the rich and mighty have to shit.
Even they sit on a fucking toilet, and theirs may be made out of gold, but what comes out of their ass isn't, unless they take that gold pill. Have you guys heard about that? There's a pill you can take that turns your poop. It like literally takes flecks of real gold and it like scatters it into your intestines. So when you shit, it glitters gold.
That's fucking weird as fuck.
It's like
I'm 100% sure it's going to cause anus cancer.
3.5K. It's like 3.5K a pill.
That's crazy. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, but that's something that rich people do.
You're literally shitting money out. It's stupid.
But that is on purpose. That is the fucking conspiracy.
That's the status. Yeah, that's part of the status. I agree 100%. There's a lot of things like that are like luxury products that are specifically designed for the rich, and it's almost like the Hunger Games dystopia. Like in the Hunger Games films, when they show people like taking the stuff that forces them to vomit so they can go back to the feast and eat more.
Yes.
When in the different districts everyone started.
We're fucking there. We're fucking there right now, but not in the same way. People instead of taking the pill to puke to go eat more, they sacrifice something in their life so they can go and buy an iPhone 10 to show off in front of their other friends that also have an iPhone 10.
I'm gonna eat ramen for the next 2 months. I'm gonna eat ramen for the next 2 months so I can afford this phone. And then the moment it breaks, I'm gonna crawl up to the company crying. Because
it's all some sort of marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now, listen to this. So I'm riding, right? And that's about half my ride. And I'm like, man, fucking rich people, bastards.
Fucking rich people. Great.
Now, I would like to preface a little bit that a lot of people know, and we've talked about this before, not like a religious person, I'm not a, God's out there to save us kind of guy. However, I believe there might be something, I don't know. Right. I just think that especially organized religions are definitely some of a problem. I personally think, but again,
I agree.
Dude, organized religions have been doing this shit for years, and it's not even just about like wealth inequality, though they definitely have been doing that since the Middle Ages. Like legit, they had fucking gold up the ass in cathedrals, and then they would throw scraps of food to the peasants that would wait outside the gate.
So listen to this. And now I'm not picking on Christian holidays. It's just what I know best. Okay, because I did grow up Catholic.
You were raised Catholic, yeah.
So
plus we're in America. Like you can't escape Christian holidays in America. They're plastered over every TV screen.
Now here's some of an extension of this conspiracy is that religious holidays, most of which originally were not on the days or times that they're supposedly set, right?
Yeah.
Was usually done to overtake existing holidays.
Pagan
holidays to convert to Christianity. It made it easier, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
So we all know that. Now, I think, however, it's morphed, and I think that now the
Power Rangers.
Yeah, the holidays have been essentially converted into money machines. Now,
to spend more.
Here's where I see a twist. Yes, it generates extreme amount of funds for fucking corporations. What you don't realize is the extreme amount of money it's making for churches and other religious organizations. Because
100%.
Hold on, do you know how many people who never go to church, never donate to the church, go to church and donate on Christmas or on Easter?
They'll go for the Christmas Eve service, and they put out triple the amount. There was one church I went to in Tennessee. They went out and they did all the regular baskets they had, and then they had like 2 10-gallon hats going around because they were putting out extra baskets to make more money because there were so many people there.
Now, I think that these holidays would not be as popular as they are if not driven by marketing. And then I think companies don't even have to do marketing for this kind of stuff, but they do. They spend so much money. But why? The reason why is that religious organizations want you to have the fucking holiday on your mind the whole fucking time.
Yeah, so that's why Christmas music is starting in October,
which subconsciously triggers your need for family and friends, which and then Catholic also guilt. And then triggers the I always went to church with my family, so I'm gonna do it again, right?
Yeah.
And then even though you never went, right, they make all the money they need that one fucking day. Now I'm not, and I kind of think that it is, and again, this is just a conspiracy out of my brain while driving to work, maybe a little, smoke a couple cigarettes, So yeah. I was like, man, that's.
Got a nicotine buzz.
Exactly. So what do you think about that? Do you think I'm just nutso bananas, or do you think I'm knocking on a...
As far as them consciously thinking we need to do this to fuck the public so we can get our money, no, because I think they're able to disillusion themselves. That's totally what's happening. But I think they're able to disillusion themselves because they've been doing it since the medieval times in this same fashion, to where they've been accruing wealth for the church in this way. Okay. And even just so with our country's founding, we don't tax the money they make at all. We don't tax anything from the churches. And it's one of those situations where when you don't tax the churches and they have tax exempt status, they're making a fair amount of money. Like that one guy, the mega church that caught a fuck ton of flack in Houston when he didn't open it up after the flooding.
Yep.
That dude has more money than God. Let's be real. Dude. He owns a fleet of private jets. Holy shit.
Well,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Joel Osteen? Is that his name?
I think that's his name, yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I just call him Jackass. So
Jack Asteen. So
makes sense.
Okay, so then I would say that maybe originally a conspiracy in the Middle Ages, right? Originally set up to con people.
Way of life.
And that was just how it was. I'm not saying that was. I mean, it's just literally the times it was in. So now it's just a kinder, gentler scam, but it's the same fucking scam.
No, it is, and it's one of those things where they use the religious doctrines that they created then, these doctrines that were created specifically for these scams, such
doctrines.
Yeah, like
doctrines, motherfucker.
like paying the tithe to the teeth or whatever to the church. That was something that became so corrupt and so fucked up that they actually were like, hey, if you pay the church money, we'll get you a good word in with the good God, and you will be forgiven for your sin if you pay this much, that much. It was basically Scientology before Scientology was a thing, which is insane to think about.
So here's my little closing arguments, honestly, with this, and then if you have anything you'd like to add, you can. I do want to say that I say this every time. Religions help to bring harmony to people's lives.
They bring comfort,
spread love, comfort.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things about religion.
It teaches us, a lot of the stories teach morality.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where organized
religion, though, I feel like it's a scam, and I also feel like whether they're disillusioned and just don't realize it because it's been so long. The holidays are fucking carefully crafted to generate money for not just businesses, but for religious organizations as well. I rest my case.
I mean, you can see that shit starting at Halloween.
Yeah.
But you can go to like Walmart and buy a pumpkin for $4, or you can go get one at a church for $50.
Yeah.
It's the same size. Shit's amazing. And you'll see those parking lots completely flooded with people trying to buy them expensive.
Oh, 100%.
Well, that's because they also attach the guilt of calling this like some kind of fundraiser for God or something like that.
Well, and that's the thing is they'll have a generic fundraiser where it's raising funds for the church. They don't state where that money's going to go usually. Like some churches do, and I respect those fundraisers.
One that does.
I saw one that it had a roof that was damaged and was like, hey, this is a fundraiser specifically for the roof repair. I was like, cool. This is after the 3 hurricanes, in 2005, 2006, that area. And I was like, okay, cool. That makes sense. No other church, when they've done a fundraiser for the church, have said specifically where that money's going. So it could just be for the church, we want new printers. We want computers. I want an iPad so that way when I'm not doing a sermon and I'm in the back room just chilling, I can be surfing on an iPad. Like literally anything, and anything that they purchase that's for the church, which I'm sorry. I worked at Staples for a while, talked to a lot of church people. You will not believe how many people, when they think you're not a human because you're just a peon in like a fucking retail place, they'll tell you anything, including the fact that they use their church status for personal purchases and then just use the tax exempt saying it's for the church. Because they are an embodiment of God, and that doesn't leave them. So they'll even like do the whole like, I'm going to explain it. Well, because I'm always in the Lord's service, anything I purchase is really in service of the church. So this is tax exempt. Like that kind of shit. There were 3 different preachers, and that was just in fucking St. Cloud, Florida. Like I'm calling them out. I'm putting them on blast.
St. Cloud, Florida is a bit of a shithole. So there's
it is 100% a shithole. But I'm just saying, like in that small town, 3 out of the fucking 7 preachers in the city of St. Cloud, 3 of them were corrupt as fuck, and those were just the ones that went to Staples instead of Best Buy spouting off that shit. I'm 90% sure all of them do it.
So anyway, I don't want to turn this into any more of a religion bashing than I already have. Like I said, not my intention. Not my intention, but
and again, it's not anything against the religion. It's just those particular preachers I talked to were assholes who gamed the system.
Just guys, remember, if nobody remembers this, just remember that when you're watching television and you see fucking Kim Kardashian with jewels on, just know that she has to give those back to the person that she rented them from to wear that day, okay? She doesn't really own that shit. Remember that fucking shit. Don't fucking try. Don't try to fucking live a fucking $120,000 lifestyle on $35,000. Don't do it, because that's part of the fucking conspiracy. And if you don't go to church 11 months out of the year, don't go on fucking Christmas. You're not doing anything special, right? You're not, if you believe in God and he is real, Don't be part
You know
of the
what?
conspiracy and go on one day of the year.
I say you can go in the one day of the year if it makes you feel better. Just don't feel obligated to donate. Never feel
Yeah.
obligated to donate. It's
There
not.
you go.
It's no
Okay.
longer
There you go.
religiously required to donate to churches. It's no longer. There's no longer a system for that. It's just something that they do in order to help the church. And if it's a church you go to regularly, sure, donate. You
use that center, but
if you're showing up that one time of the year, sorry, you don't have
don't
to
be part of the fucking conspiracy. Just
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying. Don't fucking give in. Break the fucking cycle. Stay woke, as Bryce would say.
Stay woke, fam.
Stay woke.
Stay
lit as
fucking
fuck.
Woke AF.
Woke AF.
I do want
bruh.
to pose one quick question for you.
Okay.
Is it
Gotcha.
wrong that in my mind, if I was God
Mhm.
and you don't go any time of the year except on Christmas, I don't want you to go to heaven.
Well, it depends on how your religion works. I mean, in many religions, especially like say Catholicism, I can go and confess my sins and get forgiven for all of them and be good. So
Yeah, as long as
I
you go
mean,
one
but
last
if I'm
time before you
God-
check out.
I see that you do that shit every year, and you're full of it. I'm not buying it.
All right.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
Well, that I mean, you made the rules, so it's one of those things where if you want to change them, you go right ahead. You're an omnipotent being that literally dwarfs us to the point to where we're less than ants in your presence. So if that's your choice, that's your choice.
omni
Not
fucking
like we-
potent, sir.
Omni fucking potent. My
That's
bad.
my
Uh,
choice. If I were God,
so-
you don't go to church except one day of the year, you're not going to heaven. Fuck you.
I just we're gonna go ahead and shift the fucking gears on this fucking big rig. And
Okay.
Bryce earlier was telling us so you guys all know that we keep talking about the core, we keep forgetting. We're sorry.
You weren't
Bryce,
supposed to bring
however,
it up.
I can't help it. I feel bad.
wrote it
It
Anyway,
was on the notes.
it's in the notes. It's in the fucking notes.
I told you to copy and paste them for next week.
I did, but
We still haven't watched it.
yeah,
We're
but
returning
Bryce
people.
did watch
I
a
did.
fucking holiday gem,
I did.
and he's promised a little bit of a teardown, and I am interested.
That I've never seen. I've never seen this either.
Really?
So the reason why you probably have never seen it is because it's a 2002 direct-to-TV Christmas special for the Muppets called A Very Merry Muppets Christmas.
I'm pretty sure I've seen
and-
this.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
you probably have. I saw it when I was a kid. It was in 2002, and that's actually going to be important later. But we'll get to that.
Okay.
The opening sequence, it's going through like a busy New York. There's Muppets and humans walking around. Two Muppets are kissing behind a newspaper on a fucking bench. A homeless
Oh,
guy
yeah.
is watching creepily and giggling. Fucking weird. Beaker mutates and grows an extra head because he was given. They do the whole joke where I sold my thing that you bought me a thing for, so I could pay for a thing that I bought you a thing for that you stole. I made that way more confusing than it had to be, but fucking,
I didn't follow you at all.
I follow. Don't
yeah.
worry.
So,
But I'm pretty sure nobody else followed. So
all right. So I have a harmonica. You have a watch. I sold my harmonica for a chain for your watch. You sold your watch for a case for my harmonica,
yeah.
and then we give each other the thing for Christmas.
Now that was in a really old Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Yes, that's the origin of the trope, or at least the origin as far as I know it. I didn't research the origin of the trope, but they do that 3 times as a joke in the opening sequence. It's really cute. And then Kermit comes in, he's being a dick to everyone, and everyone's like, what the fuck's wrong, Kermit? And he's just like, well, we lost all the money and the theater, and I hate my life. And he just walks out. So
What?
yeah, jump cut to heaven, where heaven
No.
is essentially a corporation where there's cubicles everywhere and everyone's in white suits and ties, and they have an accounting department and all this shit, and it's basically bureaucratic hell. There's this guy in
That
accounting.
sounds like a call center, and I don't want it to be
Yes,
heaven.
it does.
It basically is because they take prayers. So Daniel, who is the main angel of the show, walks up to his boss and he's like, hey, my guy, Kermit needs help. I want to go help him. He's in a bad spot. Things are going wrong, and he got screwed on something, and I want to help him.
Yeah.
And then the boss man's like, no. We would have to get that filled out in triplicate and approved by 3 different departments, and that's too quick. And
Really?
Yes. And then the guy's like, but this is an emergency. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to do that, but Merry Christmas. And then the guy walks off. And so he's like, well, then I'm going to go straight to the boss. And the other guy's like, no, you're not. And so the angel goes to this big black door, and the guy literally says, and this is terrifying to me, literally says, this is career suicide. You're going to be in a cubicle for the rest of your life. All right. The implications of that statement are fucking insane, because that means heaven is essentially a corporation where you have to work in a cubicle and work your way up to something. Yep. And you could literally spend the rest of eternity in a cubicle if you fuck up one time. Because what he was doing was going to the boss, which is God, played by Whoopi Goldberg.
Really?
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg was God in it, and she was really good as God, I would say. But he's going there without an appointment, and that's his career suicide. That's his one fuck up. And in an eternity of time, I'm going to make that fuck up once, because I'm going to need something that needs an answer right away. Sorry, I can't make that appointment. This person's about to kill themselves. I need to know if I'm supposed to save them or not. They did pray. Shit like that. So he goes to God. She's in this giant meadow, giant butterfly, bunch of fucked up shit. He sits down and he's like, I really want to help Kermit. And she's just like, who are you again? You're Danny, right? That's frightening to me, because God's an omnipotent being who's supposed to know all of us.
Know all things.
Yeah. So that means that God doesn't know everything, and the reason why things quote unquote work and prayer works is essentially this bureaucracy, this corporation, and they do all the work, and that she just uses her power to complete the work. Like, she fuels the power.
Just a tool for
exactly. She runs everything. She built the corporation, but she can't keep track of all of us on her own, and she's not actually omnipotent. So she has all the angels watch over us, and they report back, yeah, we want to do the thing. And then she's like, all right, here's my power for 5 minutes, go. Like shit like that, which, I mean...
She's the call center director.
Exactly. So, I mean, heaven's essentially hell in this universe to me. But, so he sits down with her and he's like, we should really help Kermit. And she's like, but Kermit always does the right thing. I'm not worried about Kermit. And he's like, yeah, but he's freezing to death on a bench because he's suicidal, because he thought he destroyed everyone's life. She's just like, oh.
Was he actually suicidal?
Yeah, he was intentionally sitting outside in sub-zero temperatures to freeze to death. And, he actually succeeds in doing so, but I'll get to that in a second. So God's like, all right,
fuck.
God's just like, all right, I'm convinced I will send you down, I'll send down my best agent. And she turns to him and is like, it's you. And he's like, I've never done this job before. What do you mean? Don't you mean this guy? I should get this guy. I'll get him on right now. We'll get this done. She's like, nope, sending you. She gives him a big ass book of what to do in those situations. She's like, I'm not a very fast reader. And then she gives him the Miracles for Dummy edition, which is a humorous joke, but also fucking terrifying. This guy has never done a miracle before. He's never done field work before. And you're going to send him down to save Kermit, someone you've already said that you respect to the point where you don't even worry about him because he always chooses the right thing and does the right thing.
So because he chooses the right thing, he doesn't deserve Whoopi Goldgod's fucking power?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, why is she being so nonchalant about this? And why is she sending a nobody, someone who doesn't know what he's doing and has actively said, I don't know what I'm doing, and then only give him a book, which was thick enough to take at least a few hours to do, and this Kermit was freezing.
She must already know something.
Well, that's a possibility. That is a
possibility. Maybe she is omnipotent. She knew that Kermit needed this guy, and she did the whole no thing, and then you're the best and all that to, flush the greatness out of him.
I mean, sure, that is a possibility, but it's also a possibility that she did it for entertainment, because later, as he's fumbling around, you see her eating popcorn. She basically sent him down there because this is her game. No, not to fail. She believed he could do it. But she sent him down there because she thought it would be way more hilarious for him to do it and fuck up a bunch and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like The Sims, right?
I get it.
You have the Sims who's shitty at cooking start cooking, so that way you can see if they make themselves catch fire or not. Like, it's humorous. So
that is funny.
That's pretty funny right there.
Yeah.
So he does that, and also the reason why God wasn't available actively, and they needed an appointment, was because God already had an appointment with the archangels to plan fucking Armageddon and the after party for Armageddon. What? So literally wants to plan the end of the fucking universe And she's planning it now in 2002, which means, holy shit, that's coming up soon. And she was planning an after party. So it's like an event to be celebrated, the end of existence. So that's cool. I guess just God things, hashtag just God things. So what it starts to do is it starts showing everything that caused Kermit to become this depressed mess outside. It shows that there's a banker that wants to foreclose on the Muppet Theater so she can open up a nightclub. She actually seduces King Prawn. I don't know if you guys remember King Prawn. He's like the little guy who talks weird. He's just a shrimp. Yeah. She literally like pulls down on her shirt a little bit and shows a little bit of cleavage at him at eye level, implying that if he went to her side and told her information, that he would be getting a little action. And so he immediately spills about the Muppet Theater. She goes to foreclose on it. Well, I mean, maybe. But so he stabs the back of the Muppets for some tits. While all this is happening, it also shows them like throwing together a Muppet show because they're doing like the big Christmas special. And now that they know that they're going to foreclose, they need to sell all these tickets. The director just quit. The dancers are horrible. All this shit's going wrong. All the
worst possible.
Yeah, the worst possible, everything. But they pull together. They pull together, and they end up making this fantastic show. And it's great, and it's accidentally great, but it's still fantastic. Everyone loves it. They sell enough tickets to pay off the debt. Hooray! Shit goes wrong though. Fozzie the bear is just like, Kermit, let me take the money for you. I got you. And Kermit's like, I really should take the money. And Fozzie's like, bruh, I got you. Right? So Fozzie takes the money to go pay a banker. And a Steve Irwin lookalike starts chasing him to try and tranquilize him because he thinks he's a real bear. So in this universe, Muppets are a known quantity as citizens and thinking intelligent beings, and bears are fucking bears. Like, they're just like real bears in our reality.
Bears.
So an expert on animals can't tell the difference between a Muppet bear and a real bear.
No, right. There was something else going on there.
Education is lacking in that world to where your experts can't even tell the difference between a Muppet and a bear. Just saying. So when he's running away, right, from this fucking Steve Irwin lookalike who's trying to trank him, and he actually ends up tranking a snowman who passes out, which that terrifies me just because that means...
How does that work?
Yeah, because that means that snowmen have a circulatory system, so when they melt, they're actually melting blood, which, gross. So anyways, so when he's escaping, he runs through a fake tree factory, and he accidentally gets painted green. And when he comes out the other side, he hides amongst the trees. The trackers lose him, but there's a bunch of Who's there, like Dr. Seuss Grinch Stole Christmas Who's. Grinch Who's. And Fozzie is green and looking like the Grinch. So the Who's come up and they're like, you're the guy that stole Christmas from us. Yo, fuck you, dude. We're going to beat you up. And legitimately, they go to attack him. So in this universe, not only is Dr. Seuss universe connected to the Muppets universe, but all the Who's are vengeful little shits. They're not that kumbaya singing group of people on Christmas like, oh, it's all about togetherness.
Kind of people.
They completely destroyed, like, this movie's existence completely destroyed the good moral like lesson from the Grinch, which is, oh, as long as you have each other, it doesn't matter about the gifts. Nah, in fucking Very Merry Muppets movie, fuck that shit. We're gonna beat the shit out of this guy. He stole our shit. So anyway,
I get it.
He fucking bounces. He runs through a fucking Salvation Army, to throw off the Who's. He finally makes it to the bank. There's this whole like Mission Impossible sequence where he's dodging lasers. He gets to the bank and ends up he grabbed the wrong bag in the Salvation Army, left the money in the Salvation Army, grabbed a bag of clothes instead. And what ends up happening is they foreclose on the fucking Muppet Theater because they didn't have the money in time and the contract stated it had to be by a certain time. And the cutoff happened because Fozzie fucked up and grabbed the wrong bag.
Well, damn.
Yeah, so so God is, after seeing all this on video, because God is completely technologically illiterate and has the angel show her the video.
Earth is CCTV.
I was
Exactly.
about to say, so it has to be a video. She doesn't just know this is happening. Then.
Exactly. She has to see
Okay.
it on video, and there's like channels and all this shit. It's interesting.
Just watching it on a CRT TV.
Yeah, this universe would explain why angels are no longer walking among us like they used to in medieval times. Now that technology's evolved, they just took that technology and they keep tabs on us like that. So not only is it bureaucratic hell up there, but it's also the NSA. So that's cool.
Right.
So God agrees to send the accountant as the field agent to save Kermit, a job he's never done and is vastly unqualified for. So he goes down, and Kermit's frozen to death. Guy pulls out a hair dryer, heats him up. Everything's cool. Kermit comes back to life. And then when he's like, "Hey, I'm here to
Wait a
help. We
minute.
can figure this out."
He heals him with a hair dryer, magic angel hair dryer, or
Magic
doesn't
angel hair
need
dryer
to
doesn't
plug
need
into
to
a
be
wall.
plugged into anything, and he just
Okay.
magically pulled it from a coat and then from no pocket. So it's a magic situation.
Okay.
It's like a pocket of holding. All right. So Kermit does the classic It's a Wonderful Life situation where he wishes he was never born in front of the angel. So the angel's like, "Well, let's show you what that world looks like." So he takes Kermit to the world where he was never born, and in that world, the park they were in becomes a mall. The banker owns everything, including like 3/4 of the internet, and essentially, he gets to see how everyone is worse off without him being born. Rizzo the Rat, he's a rat character, is on Fear Factor, but he's not on as a contestant. He's one of the challenges. So he's in a cage, and then a human head, like the woman is, her head's in the cage on the other side, and there's like a metal plate between them. And the host of Fear Factor is like, "All right, for the final test on Fear Factor, you have to face this disease-ridden rat." And Rizzo's like, "Hey, dude, not cool." And then he opens the slide. She starts screaming. He's like, "All right, and then you have to eat it." And then Rizzo's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 that was not in my contract." So this is a sentient being with citizenship, because Muppets do have citizenship. They have licenses, and they have money and cards and everything. So they are citizens.
We've seen them drive. We've seen them shop. We've seen them interact with humans.
Elmo has gotten a key to the city of Detroit. All of that.
So in that world, we know that they truly are. So this was what, animal or citizen sacrifice?
This was literally murder on TV, because she starts to eat him. And you can see it. You see her take the first bite. The guy screams, the first bite's always the hardest. She bites down. Rizzo starts screaming as she puts his arm in her mouth. And then Kermit's like, "I can't keep watching this. This is a nightmare." And he turns away. And then they just walk away from that, which, holy shit, we just watched a beloved Muppet character get cannibalized on show. Whatever. Yeah. We're moving on. So what ends up happening next?
Television was a different world,
Back in 2010. Gonzo is a street performer. No one watches him play, and he's not married to the hen. He has a dancing brick instead. I'm assuming homeless and probably a drunk. The band, Manhattan Mayhem, they're all river dancers now who work at a restaurant that sells nothing but frog legs, which implies that Kermit was so much of an influence on America and how much we loved him, that with him not being there, we just didn't give a shit about frogs, made an entire chain of restaurants based off eating their legs. I could see that too. Yeah. So I think that's cool, just fucking terrifying. And then the Dot nightclub, which is the whole reason why she wanted to, the banker lady wanted to foreclose on the Muppets Theater, was so she can make this nightclub. And in this universe, she already did, because the Muppets Theater never came to be, because they never got together, because Kermit is the glue that holds them all together, apparently. And in the nightclub, Dr. Honeydew is a bouncer, and he literally calls Kermit a lizard, which means he's not a science guy anymore. He's not a scientist at all. So somehow Kermit being born made him a scientist. Fozzie is a pickpocket who steals Kermit's wallet when Kermit doesn't have a pocket. And the angel even comments on that. He's just like, "Yeah, he stole your wallet, and you don't even have pockets. That's weird." Which, again, where the fuck does Kermit keep his wallet, and how did Fozzie get his hand inside of Kermit? Because that's the only place I can imagine.
I'm going to go with butthole and you know.
And yeah, and just Fozzie's got really well
The
lotioned
moves, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, that fucking
You probably spit first, you know.
And you know the rest of the cast are in the club dancing with glow sticks and in cages doing dances, like sexually grinding against the cages in very little clothing. They're
Really?
basically all addicted to E and just raving all the time.
Okay.
So
without Kermit, they're drug addicts and stripper whores. Nice.
Yeah, and then finally, the angel takes him to see Miss Piggy. And here's where shit gets really fucking weird. All right. And it's not even really about Miss Piggy, but this is where I noticed the biggest thing, and I'll get to that in a second. But Miss Piggy has become a cat lady. She's living in a motel. She's a fake psychic. Like one of the call psychics, like what's her face from way back in the early 2000s, or late 90s, early 2000s. Cleo, yeah, she's basically Miss Cleo of this universe. But if you look out the window of the apartment, perfectly framed in the New York skyline, like perfectly framed, Twin fucking Towers.
Really?
And this movie takes place in 2002, a year after the Twin Towers have been destroyed. And I'm sorry,
Really?
most people are pretty hyper aware of the fact that there's fucking Twin Towers there. We need to remove those because, oh my God, we're bringing up a terrible tragedy in a
That's
kid's film.
fresh.
No, but
That
I
is
disagree
fresh.
with removing them. But opinion, I guess
Well,
maybe they had the same opinion I
accuracy.
did in that you leave it either for accuracy or, you know, in my opinion, removing it from movies and other media.
Well, it depends on
is
what
Well, no, this is a new
allowing-
movie.
took
This
place
is a
in.
new movie.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is that it was animated though, correct?
No, this is a live action film.
Well, then maybe it was just shot over a period of time before that happened, and it just took a
What
long
year
time
did
for
the
them
movie
to
take place,
finish.
though? Do
No,
we know
you
that?
you can change things in production very easily. All right, like they had a year, more than a year and 3 months after the tragedy happened for them to decide, maybe we should change that backdrop. Here's the thing
Well,
about
that's what I
that.
mean. Is
Well,
why?
here's
why
the
why
thing.
would they do that? I disagree with that.
Because the Twin Towers are destroyed. Why? You can do a generic New York skyline without having the Twin Towers front and fucking center, perfectly framed in the window. It's not like it was like a whole skyline and then the Twin Towers are just there. It was just the Twin Towers, just sitting there in the window. So the implication in this universe, outside of what potentially went through their heads, because either they were lazy or forgot or whatever, or they were trying to tell us something. And in the universe of this movie, Kermit being born prevented 9/11. So Kermit being born prevented 9/11, and I know how. I did a lot of research on this, on how Kermit
What the
fucking
fuck?
Frog could have prevented 9/11, and here's what it is.
Please.
So by Kermit not being born, 9/11 doesn't happen, right? So Kermit being born, Kermit originally, he was actually pretty big on Sesame Street as well, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, Big Bird, all of them, they were all on there. Bert and Ernie. Funny thing about Bert is that Bert was actually on a pro Bin Laden sign. Where there were a bunch of protesters after 9/11 happened, where Bert is shown posted up next to Bin Laden on their signs, and it wasn't photoshopped in. This is 100% accurate on Snopes. There's a website called Bert is Evil, and it was made as a joke website where you just they were just putting him in various like tragedies and making it seem like he's part
That's
of them.
fucked up. Okay.
Okay.
And the people who created the posters stated, "Oh, we just didn't know. We were just taking, you know, pictures off the internet, and we didn't see that Bert was in there, and it made it on a bunch of posters, and people grabbed them by the time we realized and printed 1,000 of them up or whatever." So Bert was at essentially a pro Bin Laden thing. I don't think it was photoshopped. I think this movie was trying to tell us the truth about 9/11, and that is with the money that Bert made off Sesame Street, which came to be because Kermit was part of it. He was able to get enough power and influence and funding to assist with the 9/11 plot. Burt caused 9/11 because he had the resource, because he was on Sesame Street, and if Kermit was never born, Sesame Street wouldn't have made it. Burt wouldn't have had the influence. TLDR, Muppets caused 9/11.
Okay, or as John put, maybe, and as we've established, is not in our universe at all. So all alternate realities, especially when there have been things changed. So without Kermit, what other things had to have happened for there to not be a Kermit? It could just be in the alternate reality that didn't happen. Or it almost happened and we prevented it.
But here's the other thing about that is Kermit decides to go back to the original universe without a second's thought of, oh my God, me not being born prevented 9/11. What are the thousands upon thousands of lives from that tower going down and, just America being affected in comparison to me and my friends? Well, fuck it. I'm not going back because I'm going to prevent that tragedy. He didn't even have a second thought. He was just like, no, send me back. I want my friends to be happy with me. And that was the Christmas miracle. 9/11 still happens, but they all get to hang out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It could just also be very simply that this was all previously filmed. I lie on the side that
here's the thing about that.
Removing
here's
it
the thing
because
about
to be
that,
sensitive.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the movie was filmed, because when you create a movie, you're creating a universe with rules. So the very cut and dry rules here in this presentation, by them leaving it in, whether it was just because they were lazy or they didn't realize it, the fact it was there means it's real. That means that in that universe, the Twin Towers are there. So it doesn't matter what their original intent is, because
I don't
the
think
facts
that
are.
But I disagree. I think that there's not always they're not always putting out there that here's the universe and here's the rules to it. Now we apply those rules based on what we see, but
that's what every movie is.
it could just very well be like I said that it wasn't in the budget, or the director or whomever
it wasn't in the budget to
removing it. We'll leave it there. Instead of removing it, we'll leave it there as like a remembrance because whatever. In our
Christmas fucking movie, let's remind everyone of the worst day of your lives about a year ago, and let's make it to where they're still up when Kermit is not born.
I just don't think that there was that attaches that way. I mean, sure, I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I think it's a far jump.
I think you're just focusing too much on the fact that the producers could have chosen not to remove it. That's worse. It's worse to choose not to remove it because you're not setting up a tribute by just having him framed in your shot.
But that's what I'm saying is you don't know that.
We don't know the circumstances.
You don't know the circumstances behind why they were there.
Not.
Right. The fact is they're there, which means that in that universe, they're still alive, that those towers never went down. So whatever their original intent was, by not stating it to us, but keeping it in, we have to draw our own conclusions. And the conclusions presented by the rules of the universe, which is this is the universe where Kermit was never born. Hey, the Twin Towers are there. That means that him not being born was a direct reflection of those towers surviving. So whether they intended it to be that or not, it doesn't matter because we have to draw our own conclusions based on the evidence presented. And that's the logical conclusion there. That's like A plus B equals C.
The same or the opposite conclusion would be they got cleanup done way quicker and rebuilt the towers. I mean
that's a possibility too. Maybe these are Twin Towers Mark II.
And the other thing is we also don't know what time frame he brought them to. Maybe it wasn't.
No, it was same date and time. It was it's a Wonderful Life universe.
Yeah,
rules.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
this was basically a tribute to It's a Wonderful Life, the Muppet version.
Most of that I've never thought to think of. I think the craziest part about any of that is the
Burt being on the 9/11 sign.
That is odd, but
no, you can Snopes it and everything.
I think the craziest part about any of that is the bureaucracy heaven. With
that's terrifying.
The call
That's
center.
what
I don't
Yeah,
need my
call
heaven,
center.
my
That's
afterlife
fucking
to be fucking call centers. Sorry,
No.
I did enough of that shit in real life. Fuck you. I thought heaven was supposed to be like, VR.
VR.
Where's my headset, G? Fuck that cubicle. Where's my headset?
Yeah. Well, what
That
if
would be
your
nice.
call center was VR call center? That'd be cool.
And it's like a job simulator?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be
I'm
so bad.
listening.
But you're really taking phone calls. You're really working. You're really taking phone calls.
Do I have to care?
You have to pretend to care.
You virtually care.
Yeah, you virtually pretend to care.
No, no deal. No. if I'm cool with it, if I can play it however I want, just like a VR game. But if I have to actually care, then it's just a job. And VR doesn't make it, while it makes it like 5% cooler, does not make it any less annoying when someone calls up to me bitching about something that is their fault.
Well,
Fuck you.
treat it like your current job. The same behaviors and everything, except you're doing it in VR.
Yeah, I don't want to do that in heaven. There's a reason why it's a job.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like my heaven is like chilling to the max.
Yeah. My
Like
heaven's not
I'm
a
basically a
job.
human sloth, and I chill. I eat hibiscus flowers, and smoke some dank green and play VR. That's it. What do you want?
Yeah. So, Bryce, honestly, man, you have such a fucking knack for ripping things up. I'd have to watch the.
You should watch it. It's actually it's a pretty funny and it's a cute movie and everything. There's just a lot of things that are like, holy shit, what the fuck? The implications are just terrifying to me.
That is pretty crazy. Honestly, I will give you that. I still think that the core is going to be a way better conversation, but
I think so too, because I don't have to fight you on what the directors intended or anything, because the whole thing is just bullshit.
yeah. Well, I mean,
We're gonna go
like
in.
the idea of a laser train, but whatever.
You like the idea of a laser train. That's cool. You can like the idea of a laser train, but how they implemented the idea of a laser train is fucking bullshit for so many reasons. They put nukes on it. Like, what? Yeah, we just keep nukes. Fuck it. America.
Sometimes you need nukes, America.
We gotta start the core of the earth with nukes. That's our
Everybody
solution. to
knows.
everything. There's
Everybody
an
knows how
fucking
that's.
nuke it. But you gotta.
Everybody knows how that's how it works, right?
You know what? That's the answer to every disaster film in existence. The other ones just didn't try it. They didn't think to try it. Fucking Armageddon. We gotta dig and then explode a nuke.
Yeah.
The core. We gotta dig and then just explode a nuke. Bam. Like fucking. If they did that in San Andreas, probably would have fixed the fault line. No more earthquakes forever.
We
Congratulations.
gotta dig and we gotta upload a nuke in the fault line.
But when
That's
we're
true.
digging, we gotta have the rock do the digging. So it's
For some reason, the rock is
odd
here.
place.
Bare hands.
Like, you know
Yeah.
what the rock is cooking? A fucking nuke.
Yeah, the drill breaks and then the
Fucking
rock
rock.
just jumps down. He's like, "I've got this," and he just starts like his
Turning
hands are
the
bleeding
fucking-
as he's like, "Yeah, I'm the rock.
Yeah.
He can do it.
Yeah.
This is the hard place."
I have faith.
As he's done and he looks up and he's dying, he's like, "Vote President The Rock Johnson," and then dies.
Ugh. He has my vote.
Turns out it was just an ad campaign.
Yeah, like later they're like, "That was the weirdest fucking advertisement I ever saw. What was the earthquake shit about? That didn't happen. What was the?"
Oh shit,
What? I like it.
guys! I think you ready to get out of here?
I think
Yeah.
we nailed it.
Yeah,
And
I
my
think we
face
fucking
is a
nailed
sweaty
it.
mess, so I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
All
shit.
That doesn't-
Well, yeah, we did lots of weird shit today. I hope we didn't destroy the Muppets for you. If like that was something you really enjoyed, let us know. Any opinion you have on anything fucking Bryce just said, I want to hear it. PB letter NJ podcast at gmail.com. Please fucking let us know what you think, please.
Mhm.
And Jordan, plug everything else, man.
Email, Facebook, the same thing. PB, the letter NJ podcast, at PBNJ podcast on Twitter. Definitely.
100.
100%. Reach out.
Ah, John.
Patrick's.
Trust me, we fucking nailed it. Trust me.
we nailed it, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Nailed it.
We nailed it.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Peace.
All right.
And
Yeah, let's see if we're gay before I
Sure.
end our broadcast here. is I put up the deuces like a 13-year-old girl on SMP.
Aw, you
Definitely
cute little
13-year-old
13-year-old.
All right. I'm killing this fucking audio stream. Thanks for watching. Check out the Jordan's super duper cool audio version.
Yeah. Or else.
Yeah. Or else. Later, John.